ABW expenses. Creating a new expense claim. Process. How to raise an expense claim for your own expenses using ABW Aggresso. Click Show More in the description below this video to find direct links to specific chapters or external resources. If you require access to ABW expenses, please email finance.helpdesk@arts.ac.uk quoting your payroll number. Part 1. Creating a new expense claim. Step 1. Log in to ABW Aggresso using your personalised login. This is different from your regular network login. Step 2. Click on the Your Employment tab on the left side of the screen. Under the Start Pages heading, click Expenses. Step 3. The Expenses dashboard appears. 3 tabs display on this screen. The first, Drafts, is where you will find any draft claims. In Progress is where you will find your claims that have entered workflow. The Completed tab is where you will find all of your completed expense claims. To begin a new expense claim, under the Expenses heading, click Expense Claim. Step 4. This will display the expense claim entry screen. The left side of the screen is where you enter each expense you are claiming. The right side of the screen is the expenses overview. This displays a summary of the claim as you type it in. Step 5. The claimant declaration displays at the top of each new claim. All expenses claimed must follow UAL's expenses policy. This is available to view on the Canvas staff intranet. Step 6. On the left side of the screen, in the Purpose box, enter a short reason for the claim. This field is mandatory. Step 7. Leave today's date in the Date box. This is the Budget Code box. This is where we enter the code for the department which will pick up the cost for the expenses. When making an expense claim, there are 3 possible outcomes for the Budget Code box. Go to Option 1 if the line of your claim have different budget codes, Option 2 if the lines of your claim are being sent to the same budget code, or Option 3 if you are making a claim for an externally funded research project. Option 1. If the lines in your claim are sent to different budget departments, leave the field empty. Budget codes for individual lines can be edited later on. Option 2. If all lines in your claim are sent to the same budget department, start typing the 8-digit number of the budget code or start typing the name of the department. Option 3. For externally funded research projects, the budget code will begin with R. If you are using an R code, all lines claimed must have the same budget code attached. To action this, simply use the Apply to All button below the budget code box. If you do not know which budget code to use, ask your manager. Part 2. Adding lines to the claim. Step 1. You need to add separate lines for each expense that you are claiming. Click the Add Expense button in the taskbar at the bottom of the screen. This will add a new line. Step 2. For each line, enter a category. The category is a type of expense you have made. Select a category of expense from the drop-down list. Step 3. In the Expense Date field, enter the date that you made the expense. Step 4. Enter details of the expense in the description field. Ensure that you provide all the required information in the square brackets. If information is missing, your claim may be rejected or delayed. This example shows how the description field can be completed. Step 5. There is a small arrow at the far right-hand side of the line. Clicking this arrow expands the line to show 2 extra pieces of information. Use the exchange rate field and the exchange rate if you were given one by your bank or card provider. The budget code can also be changed here for this line. If one expense cost needs to be split between different budget codes, then add extra lines. To do this, enter identical information in the category and description for these lines. Put the appropriate cost split against each line. and change the budget codes here. To reduce the line back to its original appearance, click the small up arrow on the far right-hand side of the line. Step 6. Add a new line for each expense you are claiming. If you have chosen the mileage category for your claim, the quantity field will appear. In this box, enter the number of miles travelled. ABW will then calculate the amount payable for these miles. For example, for 77 miles, ABW calculates a payment of £30.80. The rate per mile is fixed. Step 2. If you select any other category, the next field is currency. Select the currency that the expense was made in from the drop-down list. GBP, British pounds, is the default value. For example, if a taxi fare is in euros, choose EUR from the drop-down list. Step 3. The next field is current amount. Enter the amount of expense in the currency that it was made in. For example, if a taxi costs €25, then enter 25 in the current amount box. The next field to complete is amount. The amount field is the current amount converted to GBP at the exchange rate held in the system. If the expense was made in GBP, then the current amount and amount fields will show the same value. Part 3. Deleting lines. To delete any line of the claim, click the checkbox in the left-hand side. A tick will appear in the box. When a tick has appeared in the box, click the Delete Expense button at the bottom of the screen. This line is now deleted. Part 4. Saving the claim in draft. Step 1. Users often wish to save claims in draft form. A draft claim is not submitted, so you can edit and submit it at a later date. To save the claim as a draft, click the Save as Draft button in the taskbar at the bottom of the screen. Step 2. A green saved message will appear on the screen. This confirms that the draft has been saved. There will be a reference number for each claim saved. Step 3. Use this button each time to save the draft. The draft claim already has a reference number. This means that a simple message of saved displays next time you click Save as Draft. Part 5. Retrieving a draft claim. Step 1. To retrieve a draft, return to the Expenses dashboard. This can be done by clicking the Expenses tab at the top of the screen. Step 2. Under the Expenses Overview heading, there is a box called Draft. Step 3. Click on the magnifying glass icon at the top right of the draft box. This lists all your draft claims. Click on the draft claim you wish to open. Step 4. The claim will open and can now be edited. The claim reference number is displayed in the tab at the top of the screen. Part 6. Adding receipt scans to lines of a claim. Adding a scanned receipt is a two-step process. The first step is to add the scan receipt to ABW. Then you need to match the receipt against the line of the claim. You will need a receipt for every line of the claim. Your claim may be rejected if there is not a receipt for each line. Step 1. First, on the right-hand side of the screen, go to Expenses Overview. In the top right of the section, go to the Receipts box. Click anywhere in the box to start adding a receipt. Step 2. A new window will open. Your uploaded receipts will be listed here. Click the Upload Receipt at the bottom of the window to add a receipt scan document. Step 3. Browse to find the location of the scanned receipt. Click on the file to select it, then click Open. Step 4. The receipt is now saved in your personal receipts area of ABW expenses. Step 5. Repeat these steps to add all the scanned receipts you will need for all lines of your claim. Step 6. You can change the display by using the icons in the top right of the window. The black square icon creates a detailed view. This shows a large image of one receipt at a time, with arrows to move on to the next receipt. The icon with 3 rectangles in the centre is for List View. List View shows one list of all receipt file names. The grey dots icon on the far right is for Grid View. This displays all receipts at once as a grid of small images. Remember to hide any personal information from uploaded receipts. This includes bank details, home address, etc. Step 7. Once you have added your receipts, the next step is to match each receipt to the correct line of the claim. First, change the view to detailed using the black square icon. Use the arrows at the bottom left and right of the window to find the image of the receipt that you want to match to a claim. Step 8. Next, find the expense line to match. This is in the lower half of the window. Tick the tick box on the left of the line to select that line. The Match to Receipt box now becomes active. Click it and the receipt will be matched to the line. Step 9. A message confirms the expense line has been matched to the receipt. To undo the match, click the Undo button. Step 10. Repeat these steps until all the receipts are matched to lines. The paperclip icon, right of line, indicates a receipt is matched. More than one receipt document can be added to a line if required. Step 11. The receipts window can now be closed using the X in the top right corner. Step 12. On the claim screen, a paperclip icon on the right of the line is visible against each line that has a receipt matched to it. Click on the paperclip icon beside a line to see a preview of the documents attached. Part 7. Adding an advance against a claim. Step 1. If an advance was paid to you, it will appear as an advance payment in the expense overview section on the right of the screen. Step 3. Click Show Transactions, the bottom of the advance payment section. A new window opens containing a list of all the advances you have been given. Click on the advance you wish to use in this claim, then click Import to Travel Expense. Step 4. The full amount of the advance given will be shown as one line in the claim with a negative value. Continue adding lines to the claim expense as required. Step 2. If an advance has already been given to you, the advance needs to be added to the claim. ABW allocates the advance as follows. The total sum of the advance is pulled into the claim. After the claim has been approved, ABW calculates if an amount is due to be paid back to you or not. If an advance payment is less than the total expense, the extra amount that you spent will be paid back to you. ABW will show that your advance has been used. If the advance payment is the same as the amount that you have claimed, then no payment will be made to you. ABW will show that your advance has been used. If the advance given to you is greater than the total amount of your expenses claim, then no payment will be made to you. ABW will show that part of the advance is due back to UAL. In this situation, contact the expenses team. Part 8. Submitting a claim for approval. To submit the finalised claim to approver, click Send for Approval at the bottom of the screen. Part 9. Validation errors. Step 1. If there are errors within your claim, ABW will not allow for it to be submitted for approval. The validation error symbol will be visible against each line with an error. An error message will also appear indicating the number of lines with errors. You must correct errors or the claim will not submit. Step 2. Click on the error message at the bottom of the screen for more information on the error. For example, the error message below shows 2 errors, both within row 3. Now look at line 3 of the claim and expand to see the line details. The example shows a missing budget code, which is a mandatory field. Enter the missing budget code to correct the error. Part 10. What happens if my claim is rejected? Step 1. An expense claim may be rejected for many reasons. Log into ABW. Go to the task list found at the top right of the screen. Task Management Options allows a better view if many tasks are present. Step 2. Pick up the rejected claim by clicking on the task. Step 3. Rejected tasks will have a red heading. The approver will give workflow comments. These will detail why they rejected the claim. Step 4. Amend your claim according to the prompts given by the approver. Click Send for Approval to resubmit for approval. The next section will outline what to do if you do not want to resubmit the claim. This will give you options to delete or repurpose the rejected claim. Part 11. How do I delete a claim? Step 1. If a claim has not been saved as a draft, then no transaction number will have been given. In this scenario, closing the window will discard the claim. Click on the X in the tab to discard the window. Step 2. If the claim has been saved as a draft, or if the claim has been rejected back to you, then it cannot be deleted immediately. Think about if you can repurpose the open claim. Perhaps you can delete all but one line and keep it as a draft for another time. This is a valid action. Step 3. If you do need to delete the claim completely, then please log a call with finance.helpdesk@arts.ac.uk, who have the ability to delete from the system. Part 12. Where is my claim in the approvals process? Step 1. There is a report which shows you where your claim is in the approvals process. Go to Reports, Expenses Reports, Own Expenses Claim in Workflow. This report shows all claims currently in workflow, not fully approved yet, where you are the claimant. Step 2. Double-click the report to open it. It will run automatically. Look at the different columns for information. Workflow status shows if workflow is in progress or if it was rejected. Approval step shows the step of the approval process. This may be budget approval or with expense team for review. Step owner shows the person responsible for completing the current approval step. Step 3. Contact the approver if you are concerned about the approval timescale for your claim. Congratulations! You have learned how to make a new expense claim.